Hi, everyone. It's me, Miss Branch, the art teacher. And today, for lesson number 4, we are going to learn about texture. Now, here it is. We're going to also learn about the background. All the stuff behind me is my background, the middle ground, the stuff that's kind of closer to you, and the foreground. But in the video we just watched, you learned that there are two types of textures. There is actual texture and there is visual texture, or the video might have said there was tactile texture and there was implied texture. And what that means is that when you have actual texture, it's stuff you can touch. So like I could touch these clouds in my picture, and I could touch the sand that's in my picture. And I can touch these umbrellas that's in my picture, and they all feel differently. Now, implied texture is the texture that you can see, or visual textures, texture you can see it, but you can't touch it. Like I can see the texture of the waves, but I can't feel them because it's flat on my paper. So what we're going to do is I'm going to switch my camera so that we can get started doing our beach scene with our beach. This would actually become, because it's mostly water, would be considered a seascape because we just have the beach and water and sky. So this would be a type of seascape, even though we don't, it's we're concentrating on the sand on the beach, but because it's in the water, mostly water, this is still a seascape. All right, so let me go ahead and switch my camera. All right, so let me lay this up here. So in your set for this one, you had a piece of blue paper, a piece of light blue, a piece of sandpaper, and a bag with some toothpicks and some cotton balls in it. You're also going to need your crayons and your scissors for this project. Now, when it comes to glue, you can still use either your glue stick or your liquid glue. It's up to you. I'll let you choose which one to use. All right. So right now, this is going to be part of our background. So this is going to be our sky. And our middle ground is going to be the water, which we're going to put the water here in the middle. And we're going to rip off some of this to make the sand for the beach. So first things first, you're going to use your pinchy fingers. Now your pinchy fingers will help you grab stuff and hold the edges or put things and rip it together. So we're going to rip about a third of this paper off. And it should not be a straight line once you start ripping, because that's just the nature of the paper. Take your time, rip a little bit, a little bit, and a little bit. All right, so I got a little bit off. And this is going to be at the bottom of my paper because this is going to be my foreground. Now, before we can go ahead and glue this down. I'm going to go ahead and use my glue stick for now, but we're only going to glue the bottom part of the paper first. We're not going to glue anything at the top part, the part where we ripped, just yet. We're just going to go ahead and we're going to put some glue on just the bottom. And I'm going to stick that right here at the bottom edge of my paper. And normally I say rub a little bit and it sticks. It's kind of hard to rub this sandpaper paper a little bit. There we go. So now I'm gonna put this off to the side for a moment. We're going to need a blue and a white crayon. So let's see, here's my white crayon. And doesn't matter which blue you get. You can get like this one. It's indigo. It's a dark blue. I'll use indigo. Or you can use your regular blue. But that's just the first one I grabbed. And this one's a lighter blue. This one is called Cruellen. All right, but I'll just use these two blues since they came out first. Well, this blue. All right, so now, because when things get far away, they get smaller. We're going to make a whole row of very tiny waves across the top of your paper. So when you have your blue paper, you want to have it horizontal in front of you. And you want to just make little tiny waves. I'll bring that camera in closer so you guys can see that. So little tiny waves, little tiny, not big ones, little tiny ones, because we want these to look like they're far away. And when things look far away, they get smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and make these little tiny waves all the way across my paper. All right, so now I'm going to raise the camera up a bit. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut them out. This is going to take a few moments, but let me show you. You just take the back of the scissors to start and just turn your paper up. Turn your paper as I'm slowly closing the scissors. I am rocking my paper. So there's one little piece. I can do that again. Turn and slowly close the scissors. And just slowly just rock and turn your paper. Let me make sure this is flat to make sure you can see it. So I'm just turning and slowly closing the scissors so it can make the cuts. Then I open up when I get all the way down to the end and just do that again. Slowly turn and cut and slowly close while turning. And then I can open up again, come all the way to the back of the scissors and start again, closing slowly while I'm turning the paper so I can get those little tiny waves all in my paper. As you can see, I'm getting these little tiny waves. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up and just slowly close the scissors. Ugh. Sorry about that. I use my phone for my other camera. Sometimes calls come in and we're not expecting them. And it's mostly telemarketing. All right. So now I have my little waves done, and these are going to be the waves that are far away. That's why they are so little. And so now I'm going to make some waves small, and then I'm going to get a little bigger and then a little bigger because they're getting closer and closer. So small. And you can do 1, 2. I'm going to get a little bigger. And then I'm going to get my biggest ones. And I'm going to go back in with the white. And I'm going to do some little ones close to it or with them. And they're getting a little bigger. Closer I get to the bottom, the bigger they get. All right. So now that I have my water done, I'm going to go ahead and put my crayons back in my box so they don't roll around and be in the way. All right. So now our next step is to take our water and we're going to put it behind our sandpaper. And that's why we didn't glue the top part. So now I can stick my water and I can just see how it's here. So I want to stick it down so I don't see any of the light blue. Once I have it down so I don't see any of the light blue, I know I have it down far enough. And what I need to do, I actually need to lift this up again. I forgot to put the glue on. I'm gonna put some glue on here, down here first. And I know to go ahead and lift up and make sure I don't see any of the light blue. And I can put that down. Now I can put some glue on top. I'm gonna have to scroll this up a little bit. And I can put some on the back of my sandpaper. And now I can rub it down. And don't worry if you get glue on your sandpaper, it's gonna dry clear. That's what I like about this Elmer's glue. So let's see. I know I need to come down here and make sure I am there. All right, so now I have my water. So I have my foreground, which is this rough sand. You can hear it. My middle ground and my background. And now I want to get my bag of scraps from our other projects that we have scrap paper in. And we still have all these painted paper from when we did our rainbow fish. And I'm gonna look for a couple of pieces that are kind of big. So like I got this big purple piece, and I definitely want this yellow for my son. And let's see what else. Oh, I can use this corner. This corner will be good. Huh, end up in the same pieces. I could do blue. Let's see. What about this green? Ooh, I like this green. Ooh, I like it. I just thought of something I can add to my picture. I can add a towel on the ground. Yes. Cool. All right, so let's get back to work. All right, so now I got this piece of yellow. I'm gonna put a sun in my picture. So I'm just going to cut off a little piece and I'm gonna cut it again. So it kind of makes it like a square. Now, remember in the other project, I think it was part 2 when we were learning about lines and we cut some shapes to make the fish. So we learned that we could cut the corners off and we gotta get a pentagon, hexagon, heptagon, and octagon. So then we have an octagon shape, but then we just can nibble these little corners or just take little tiny cuts using the side of the scissors so that you get in there and cut off those little corners and you end up with a circle. And so this is going to be my sun. Now you get to decide. Am I going to send me like middle of the day, early in the morning, kind of go in the evening? I think I'm going to go with middle of the day. So I'm going to just go ahead and use my glue and put some glue on the back. And let me get these little pieces out the way. And I'm going to glue my sun down. Sun down. That was funny. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and add my clouds. So you probably don't need all the cotton balls because here's the cool thing about cotton balls. Watch. I'm just going to start pulling it apart. And look, it unravels. It rolls out into a long piece of cotton. So I probably don't even need all of this, but I'm going to rip off a little piece and I'm going to spread it out so it can look like a cloud. And now where I want this one to go, I'm going to put some glue down and then I'm going to pat it on there. Now I have one cloud and I'm going to have another cloud close to the water because it looks far away. I'm going to go ahead and get a little piece off and squinch it up and break it up a little bit. There we go. And see, oh, I can put a piece over here. So some glue. And then my cloud. Now, the cotton is soft, and we imagine that clouds would be soft because they look like cotton. So that's why we use this cotton for our clouds. And you can put a lot of clouds or a little bit. And I was amazed because the other one, I actually used 2. But it's up to you if you're going to end up using 2 or 1. Matter of fact, I'm going to put this cotton here. I probably could use it for another project. Even if we don't use it with the projects that we're doing, I can make up something because I'll have so many art supplies left over. That's cool. All right, so now I'm looking at this corner right here. That's going to make a cool umbrella shape. Let me go ahead and get my toothpicks out. I got 2 so far, so I can just do 2. And these are flat ones, so they won't roll away. And let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and just go ahead and put some glue on one of the flat sides of my toothpick. And I'm gonna lay it where I want this one to go. And you're the artist, so you get to decide, are they gonna be close together or are they gonna be far apart? However you want your umbrellas to look on your beach. So this one, I'm gonna go ahead and just rub it in the glue, the flat side. And I'm gonna go ahead and put that down. Oh, I guess I gotta get some more glue on it. Yeah. And I'm gonna just let that sit there. And now I can cut and make my umbrella. Now I'm just gonna cut this part off to make the rest of the triangle. And I can leave it like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. That'll look cool if I do that. And let's see, I have this one. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this corner right here. And I could do that one. I don't want this white part, so I'm gonna cut that part off. There we go. Well, and now all I have to do is put some glue on this, and this will help hold down my toothpick. And if it's not staying, you might have to get your liquid glue and put a couple of dots down. All right, so that's gonna help hold that down. And now I'm gonna go ahead and put this one on this side. And I said, oh, I could use this to look like a towel. So I'm going to cut it. Now and I can lay it down. But you know what? I'm going to do something special to this. I'm going to make it look like a trapezoid a little bit, maybe, so that it'll look like it's at an angle. Or parallelogram, rhombus. I could do that. Or I could just leave it like that. Let me try something. I got another piece. I'm going to make a yellow towel. I'm going to try it with my, because I kind of like the way that one looks. So I'm going to experiment, because you got plenty of scraps in your scrap bag. So you can just come up with all kinds of ideas. And you got all the colors of the rainbow. So let's see. If I cut a little corner off of that side and cut off this side a little bit, and then lay it down, it gives it's a rhombus shape, but it kind of gives it an angle so that it looks like it's laying on the ground, like not just flat on there. So maybe, yeah, I could cut the little corners off. I'm just gonna cut a little bit that way, and then cut a little bit that way. And I made another rhombus shape, which is kind of like a diamond. And so now I need to, that's my water, put some glue on this. And I'm kind of putting a lot because of the texture of the paper. And you know what? I think I will have to use my liquid glue. I'm gonna go ahead and put not a lot, just a dot, a dab of glue will do. And I'm going to rub a little bit. It's kind of hard to rub on this sandpaper, but I'm gonna pat it down. And I'm gonna go ahead and do not a lot, just a dot. And here's my other towel. And I'm going to go ahead and get these little extra pieces of paper off. And we were able to show texture. We showed actual texture with the soft clouds and the rough sand and the smooth umbrellas. And we showed implied texture by adding the wave lines to the water. So you can get an idea that the water is a little choppy. So it might be a little hard to touch, because some water can be hard and water can be soft, which is really a cool thing about water. Ah, there it is. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for my top. And I'm going to close my glue. Always close your glue, because you don't want it to dry out. So there we have lesson 4, all about textures. And we showed different textures. Plus we got to recycle some of our paper from another project. And we'll probably get to use some more of our paper again in another project. That'll be super, super cool. All right. I'm going to finish picking up my little pieces and putting them in my scrap bag, so I will have them. And matter of fact, I can go ahead and put this in my scrap bag because I might need that for another project too. All right, everyone. Oh, this is definitely going in the scrap bag. I don't know what I'll come up with, but we will have some fun later on making more art projects. So let me go ahead and switch my pen. So everyone, we got to do texture. We learned about actual texture you can touch, and implied texture you can see, also called visual texture and also called tactile texture. Just depends on which video you're watching. It's going to give you both definitions. They both mean the same thing. Tactile and actual texture you can touch. Visual and implied texture you can see, but you can't really touch it because you can't go inside a picture because we're not cartoons. All right, everyone, I will see you in the next video. See you soon.